We are going to talk today about how you as a leader can instill initiative in others. How do you do that? How do you have people take initiative? What does that look like for your employees? What does that look like for your team? The leaders that you're leading, what does that look like? And we're going to get into that in detail today. This is part of the Marine Corps leadership that I've been going through. We've gone through like 3 or 4 of them, and you don't have to have listen to the others. Each one is independent of their own. We've gone through justice, judgment, dependability, and now we're going to talk about initiative. I encourage you to look these up. It's free online. You can just type in 14 leadership traits of the Marine Corps. And I've shared this with each episode. Why are we going through the Marine Corps? One, I was in the Marine Corps. I went through this. I understand this. It's extremely beautiful to me. Number 2, there's no better organization that creates leaders. And how can you say that, Jason? You take an 18-year-old, you train them to take charge, whether it's Humvees, whether it's helicopters, whatever it may be, millions of dollars worth of equipment, an 18-year-old, millions of dollars worth of equipment. You put them in charge of that. Then you put them in charge of people that are going to go fight in a war. And they have to lead and lead properly. Our people will die and equipment will get destroyed. Think about that. That's a lot of pressure. And they haven't gone to college. A lot of them haven't gone, especially on the NCO side of things. They're just 18-year-old kids. No, you're hiring people by looking at a resume of experience that they've had before. Take an 18-year-old kid and teach them to be a leader in your organization and see how well that goes for you. And then put them in charge. Would you be willing to take an 18-year-old and put them in charge of millions of dollars worth of equipment? See how badass the leadership is in the Marine Corps? This is what they do. So we need to learn from this. Anytime I see a system, I don't care, political, military industrial complex, all that. I see a system that's creating leaders, that's completing a mission and doing it well. So I want to understand and follow that. And I can learn from anything in history. We have to stop canceling history all the time. Yes, it's horrific, the things that people did in the past, 100%. Don't stand for any of it, but we can learn from it and not repeat and make the same mistakes over again. That's what history is for. It's for us to learn from the good and the bad. You have to understand light and darkness to be able to get the picture. It's symbiotic. You don't understand darkness unless you've seen the light. You don't understand light unless there's darkness around that light to reveal what it is. So, these are basically, history is basically a big use case that we can go to and go back. That's why I read a ton of history books. I want to know the mistakes that others have made so that I can turn around and not make them. It's that simple. So initiative. Let's get into that today. The definition, Marine Corps initiative, is taking action in the absence of orders. I love how simple they are. This is what they do. They're so great at taking wordsmithing and making it simple. Definition. Anyone can understand this. Taking action in the absence of orders. So, you're not around. You're on vacation for a week. How much action is being taken in your organization in your absence? Have you trained people? Have you decentralized yourself to the point that they're taking action every single day and they're taking initiative? This is just training, guys. This is coaching and training, and I talk about this over and over again. It's coaching and training. When you have people taking initiative, every single person in the organization taking an initiative, what would that look like? Think about that. What would your organization look like if you took the time to coach and train and everybody began to start taking initiative? And all you have to do is just kind of steer a little bit the rudder of the ship. You've got the lighthouse. You've created the vision. Here's the lighthouse. Here's where we're going. Guys, you get this done. I love seeing when people do things and I don't have to be involved and it turns out badass. I love that. It jacks me up more than anything. When people take initiative and they do an amazing job, I love that. I reward that. I let everybody know. This is the behavior that I want to see. And I'm going to let everybody know that this is what Kelly did. She did this awesome. So this is what I'm going to show that Kelly did this. She's just amazing. She did in the big meetings. I'm going to have and I hope you're having, I've talked about the type of meetings that you need to have where you're not talking 20% of the time and others are talking 80% of the time. These are the collaborative team meetings that you have. They don't have to take longer than 15, 20 minutes unless you're brainstorming about something, but they should be coming up with that. You share the vision, macro, let them come up with the micro, always, because they're going to take ownership. They're going to take initiative if they've owned. You want to create initiative? Have them come up with the game plan. Have them come up with it in detail. Tell your team leader, say, hey, here's where we're going. Here's what we're going to do. In a week, I want you to present to everybody how each of your departments are going to do this. And I want you to take ownership of this and you create this. And what you create is what we're going to go with. You're going to be shocked. If you have really, really bad employees, you're going to see it. If you have great, and here's what's going to happen. They're going to come to you, and mark my words, they're going to come to you because you've been operating micromanaging, not decentralized leadership. They're going to be seeking approval constantly that whole week. The whole week, they're going to be, hey, boss, can I run things by you? No. Is this has to do with this project? You and your team's going to handle this. If you have a question like this, I'm not going to answer it. Go ask your team. You guys get together and solve this. You have to do that over and over again. You want to stop interruptions into your office? Teach people to take initiative. Teach people to meet and solve the problems. And if you're getting interrupted all the time in your office, you're micromanaging. That's a whole nother podcast. Definition, taking action in the absence of orders. Here's the significance. Since an NCO, non-commissioned officer, often works without close supervision, notice the word often. Since an NCO, these are the 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds, often works without close supervision, emphasis is placed on being a self-starter. Initiative is a founding principle of Marine Corps warfighting philosophy. It's a founding principle. The emphasis is placed on being a self-starter. This is why so many entrepreneurship, I believe, is learned. I believe we can have a gene where we want to do it, but the Marine Corps creates so many entrepreneurs. It's like one of the organizations, people come out of the Marine Corps, they're millionaires. You know, if they did good in the Marine Corps and everything went well, they usually turn into a millionaire because they learn initiative. They learn to be a self-starter. They don't need close supervision. So guess what's going to happen when you get somebody like that that's disciplined, they're dependable. We talked about those. They're tactful. They have integrity. You're going to rise up the ranks. It's easy. You're a leader. So and the Marine Corps taught you that. And you're going to turn around and be a millionaire, multimillionaire, be CEO, be in charge of companies. A lot of Marines that are out there are that. Since an NCO often works without close supervision, that's one thing. If you're having to do close supervision and babysit, you need to reevaluate your leadership skills. You're not being a leader. You're not even being a manager at that point. Emphasis is placed on being a self-starter. Initiative is a founding principle. What are your founding principles? Have you outlined those to your team, to yourself? What's your founding principles? And then example is this. In the unexplained absence of the platoon sergeant, an NCO takes charge of the platoon and carries out the training schedule. Notice in the unexplained absence, don't need an explanation. He's not here. This is what I do. I don't need how many people, what's wrong with him? You know, what? Nope. Oh, okay. Not here right now. He's 20 minutes late. I got this. Oh, we're 5 minutes late for the meeting. I'll take over. 3 minutes late for the meeting. I'll take over. That's initiative. When you can create that, you don't have to worry about being there. Great leaders allow their people to be able to make mistakes in a loving and learning environment. And through those mistakes, that's where they get to learn to take initiative. And this is where they're automatically going to take initiative. Oh, unexplained absence. Platoon sergeant's not here. The next NCO, I'm taking charge. And we're going to carry out the training schedule. Don't have to wait on the leader. Not paused, waiting to get approval, or can I do this, or can I do that, or what do you think about this, boss, or hey, boss, I need to run this by you before we do this. Nope. He just carries out the training schedule. It's like the platoon sergeant was never there. That's great leadership, guys. This is initiative. I encourage you, if you have questions on any of these, you can DM me on Instagram. It's ABQ Jason Rigby. That's ABQ Jason Rigby. More than happy to have a 5, 10, 15-minute conversation with you on these leadership principles. If you're into consulting or something like that, and you're looking at leadership consulting, more than happy to do that with you. I can give you the pricing and stuff like that over. So just Instagram, DM me, ABQ Jason Rigby.
Thank you for joining us on the Albuquerque Business Podcast. And thanks to our sponsor, RigbyDigital.com. Make sure to subscribe and share. And go to abqpodcast.com. Get show notes, resources, and links to everything we talked about today to help you navigate your journey as an entrepreneur and business owner.